Great, now let's take some time to answer some of your questions. Should window opening control devices be used in all windows in a home or just for those that are designated for emergency escape and rescue? Now remember, the building code requires that only one window in each sleeping room meet the requirements for emergency escape and rescue. But during emergencies, people often use windows in their living room or in the kitchen or a family room or other windows in other parts of the home to escape. So it's really important that every window that has an emergency escape and rescue opening have the window opening control device, but it's equally important that all windows in the home have a window opening control device, not just those that are designated by the minimum code requirements. Can window stops do the same thing as a window opening control device? Now remember, the window opening control device standard, ASTM F2090, requires that the device be resettable and that it be releasable for emergency escape and rescue. So if you put a window stop that fastens into the window and simply limits the opening, that does not meet the standard. And that could cause problems in the case of emergency escape and rescue. So the answer to that question is no. Do window opening control devices interfere with window screens or washing windows? Well, the answer to that question is that most window manufacturers who use window opening control devices are incorporating them into their window designs, so that whether it's the placement of an insect screen or it's the opening of a sash to be able to use that to gain access for washing, that the window opening control device will not interfere with that function. Do window opening control devices void the manufacturer's warranty? The answer is, if you purchase a window opening control device from the manufacturer, then they've designed their window to work with that specific window opening control device. If you're using it for retrofit, you should consult the manufacturer directly. Why does the WOCD need to reset each time? That's a very important feature of the ASTM F2090 standard. Remember, we're trying to educate parents and caregivers about the need to control the opening of the window when children are present. So by resetting each and every time, we will help educate those caregivers. That's an important part of the standard, an important part of design for window opening control devices. How an elderly or disabled person might be able to use the WOCDs to open the window in case of a fire. It's very important that we understand the code requirements for emergency escape and rescue, that without the use of keys or tools or special knowledge. And the window opening control devices are designed so that you can operate the window opening control device in a two-step process, which helps prevent inadvertent operation by a child. But what's equally important is that it's not allowed that the window opening control device has to be held onto while you open the window. By that I mean holding the device and operating the sash requires two hands at the same time. Well, depending on the size of the window and the location of the window, that might be difficult for someone who's smaller, certainly for someone who's disabled or elderly to do. So if you have a device that meets the standard, then you won't have to have a two-handed operation at the same time. Therefore, you'll have a safe use of the product. That's why it's important to make sure that if you purchase a window opening control device, that it meets the ASTM F2090 standard. The question is, why not just use window guards? Window guards have played an important role in safety, particularly in New York City and in Boston. Unfortunately, not all window guards meet ASTM F2090 standard, and window guards are often confused. There are other devices like security guards and security bars and grills that don't meet emergency escape and rescue requirements. There is, from time to time in certain areas of the country, obviously there's some objection to the use of window guards because they block the window and they prevent light from entering into the home. And they can also make it more difficult when it comes to cleaning the windows and washing the windows. Window guards are not part of the window, they're affixed to the opening. So the idea of using a window opening control device is an approach that's generally more readily accepted by the consumer and the homeowner, does not intrude into the window opening, and still meets the requirements for emergency escape and rescue. Are window opening control devices required by building codes? The building codes today have requirements for location of emergency escape and rescue openings, and they also have minimum sill height requirements for windows located above 6 feet from the adjacent ground surface. And there are exceptions for those sill height requirements for windows that are fitted with either window guards or window opening control devices. So the code, while it doesn't require window opening control devices today, does require them as an exception to the sill height requirement, and also requires that those window opening control devices that are used, whether they're used for that exception, or just as a means of added precaution and safety in the home, that they must meet the ASTM F2090 standard. The question from a code official is, how can he make sure that a particular product, a particular window opening control device, meets code? The code requirement requires that the product demonstrate compliance to the standard. The standard ASTM F2090 is a testing standard. Therefore, a code official should ask the manufacturer or the provider of the window opening control device to furnish them with a copy of the test report from an accredited laboratory. By using that test report, you'll be able to be certain that the product meets the ASTM F2090 standard. Can WOCDs, window opening control devices, can they be used on all types of windows? Well, as you know, today windows are made from a lot of different materials: wood, vinyl, aluminum, even composite materials. And they come in all operator types: single hung, double hung, sliders, horizontal, vertical, casements, awnings. And manufacturers, as we speak, are developing designs for all types of windows and all types of materials. So the answer is yes.